And welcome to my channel. This is Roman Cars channel, and today I'm going to review these two beautiful cars. This is 2021 Volkswagen Arteons, and for those who are maybe excited or looking for one, and today I'm going to show you the differences in trim versions between the basic SE and the top trim SEL R-Line Premium. And you can decide whether you should pay more for one of them or whether you can stick with the basic one trim. So let me get to the details. So this is 2021 Arteon SE. This is the basic model, and this is 2021 Arteon SEL Premium R-Line. So this is the top trim. So when it was new, the MSRP for this one was around $49,000, maybe 46, 48, something like that. So the MSRP for this one for basic trim, it was 38,500, something like that. So the difference was roughly up to 10 grand between them, and I'm going to show you all the different features, what you can get if you buy this one, what you can get if you buy this one. Some of people I know, some of you may be really wondering if I should pay more or whether I can stick with the basic SE model. So today I'm going to show you all these differences, and let's start from exterior. So basically now the both cars are running now, and you can see immediately the difference between them in terms of headlights. So the headlamp assembly actually the same, but what you get inside really differs between them. So here you can see so-called Volkswagen ID intelligent light. This means that you have two lenses here. So you have adaptive headlamp system. Basically the car will switch from low beam to high beam automatically. This is number one. Number two is that you have these pieces also lit. So it lights up in the evening when you have your headlamps on. This is the difference between these two trims. So that car, it has just one part of the headlamp which has lens in it. Both are LED, and the only other difference between them in exterior wise is that you have different front bumpers. So actually what you got in the middle of the bumper actually is the same except for the R letter here, which means R-Line. But that pieces and parts, they really differ, because here you have a gloss black pieces here, and here you have matte plastic pieces here. So let me turn them off and show the rest of the differences. Because it'll be much more quieter for me to show you the differences between these two cars. I know it's very hot because we are currently in Florida. Alright, now it's much more comfortable for me to tell you about the differences in these two cars. So if you are currently on the market looking for one of those, price wise I told you that the MSRP back in the day, like last year when they were new, was about 48 for the Airline Premium, and for the SE basic trim it was like 38 grand with shipping and handling. What else do we have? So technically wise, actually let's finish the exterior differences. So here you have 20-inch wheels, 20-inch wheels, and they are two-tone wheels actually. So the same we have here, also two-tone wheels, but they are 18-inch wheels. So that's the difference number one. That's why it looks like this car, the Premium SEL, looks sitting a bit lower, I would say, so closer to the ground comparing to this one, probably because of the gap between the tire and the arch there. So that's like a visual illusion, I would say. The next obvious thing you're gonna notice is that this R-Line badge here, it doesn't exist there. Obviously it's not an R-Line trim, unlike the 2022 model, but we'll talk about that later. Then you have the panoramic sunroof here, so you can slide it open, you can tilt it, so that's another difference here. Then next one, here in back we have actually the same exterior design here, except for this decal saying 4Motion. So basically this is a all-wheel drive car, because this is the top trim. Obviously the basic trim comes standard with front wheel drive only. That's another difference here. Then these tips, exhaust tips, they are almost real tips, and you should actually notice that there is a valve inside in one of the tips, and the car starts sounding a bit different, I would say, when you put it in a sport mode. Then this valve is opened, and then you can hear so the sound really starts to changing, and you will notice that when you drive these cars. Then another difference, let's speak about technical specs here, and then in a few minutes I'll go inside and show you the differences between the features and between these two cars. So specs wise, they both have 2-liter turbocharged engines, and for those who know these models, the engine itself, it's EA, so-called. This is the technical name for this engine. It's E8888. This is the third generation of the engine. It differs from its sibling in Europe, because in Europe this engine produces 280 horsepower. Unlike these models here in the US market, they produce just 268. If we convert it to European horsepower, it'll be like 272, 275, up to 275. In terms of newton meters of torque, both cars have 350 newton meters of torque, so it's about like 260 to 70 pound-feet of torque, as I remember. I don't remember the conversion rate exactly. So in terms of transmission, both cars have 8-speed automatic transmission, classic with torque converter, unlike European models, because they do have DSG transmissions, and that's the big difference between 2021 and upcoming 2022. So if you're in a market looking for one of these, and you're sure that you're not going to buy a 2022 model because you will stick to 2021, because some of the dealership, they still have some of these trim levels available, brand new cars, because it's really hard to sell them, as I know, and they are very rare. So next difference, actually no difference, but the same technical spec, is that both cars, even though you can get a very basic trim here, they do come standard with adaptive chassis control. Sorry, it's called dynamic chassis control. It's a DCC, and you can actually change the settings manually, because there is like a custom mode. So basically, if you are going to buy this car, the basic SE trim, this will come standard as well with dynamic chassis control. And so there's no difference between them in terms of this. So of course, if you are going to buy a four-wheel drive car, and if you're using launch control, or if you're going to start from 2 pedals, if you're going to launch it without officially launching it using the launch control function, but if you're going to do that using 2 pedals, then of course this will be faster. But what I heard and what I remember from Motor Trend, from Car and Driver magazines, online magazines, they tested the basic SE trim, and 0 to 60 was about 6.2, 6.3 seconds, while this car, if using 2 pedals, so you can launch it and it'll do 0 to 60 in about 5.8, 5.9. so there's no huge difference between them. But if you opt in for a 2022 model, if you're lucky to find one, because they're really hardly to find, very hard to find one available here in 2022 due to chip shortages, due to supply chain issues and all that stuff, then you're really lucky, and I would suggest you to buy one if you find one. But if you stick to 2021, there is like a small difference between them, but there is a huge difference if you live in northern states. For example, if you have real winter here in Florida, it doesn't matter actually, so you can go and buy this front-wheel drive SE basic trim here. But if you live somewhere in Minnesota or I don't know, Washington, so it would make sense to buy this one, 4-wheel drive. And I heard from the people in Facebook groups that they do very well in snow driving, so I would advise you to buy one. It really makes sense. But if you live in Florida here or in Georgia, I don't know, maybe it makes sense to buy a front-wheel drive. So that's pretty much all regarding the technical specs here. Of course, another item to mention, and it would be my mistake not to mention, because this is Volkswagen, so basically it's VAG group, or how we call VAG group. So basically you can easily tune these cars up to 360, 370 with APR. So APR for 500 or 600, I don't remember exactly, probably 599. You can do a stage 1, which increases your horsepower from 268 to 365, 370. If you want to stay with your warranty, you don't want your warranty to be voided, then you can opt in for APR Plus, which actually makes you stay with the current Volkswagen warranty if I'm not mistaken, or in this case, if I am mistaken here, then the APR office themselves, they will cover any powertrain issues you may experience after you make this stage 1 actually. So it really depends on you, but these cars, they start driving very nicely after you do stage 1. I know some people, a lot of people actually in European countries, they do stage 2, stage 3, and they can bump the power up to like 450, almost 500 power. And especially considering this will be all-wheel drive configuration, they can do 0 to 60 in less than 4 seconds probably, but that's another story. All right, we are in the SE model. We're currently here, so I'm going to show you all its features which you can get. This is the basic SE trim. So what you can get here, so there will be difference in in a steering wheel here, because you will see these buttons there, they will be so-called capacitive buttons, like touch control probably buttons. Both cars do have the fully digital cluster, your gauge cluster here. Both cars come standard with the same screen. There is no difference here. You got three zone climate control, although you'll see the difference how it's managed here and how you can control it over there. So you have automatic headlamps, so basically they will turn on automatically when it's twilight. Then what else do you have? You don't have folding mirrors. So folding mirrors, this is an option available there. It's not available here. You don't have power trunk release, so it's available on that car, but it's not available here. Then you don't have heated steering wheel. That option does not come standard here on the SE trim, but it comes standard there, SEL premium R-line trim. So shifter levers, they're the same actually. And here we do have and this is, as you can see, this is 2021 model, so you have touch control buttons to manage and operate your climate control settings. And here we have heated seats, here heated front seats. We don't have heated rear seats, we don't have cooled seats here. And I will show you that that car comes standard with cool seats and heated rear seats. But let me show you the features of this particular car. So we have this button, the mode button. It's actually about choosing between a few driving modes here. You have eco mode, you have comfort, normal, sport. So these are preset settings for your car. But there is another one, it's named custom, so you can adjust your DCC. So DCC, as I mentioned before, it stands for dynamic chassis control, and you can choose between very comfort and very soft and very mushy, not mush, but a very soft right. And you can have sport, and to the right the car will feel very the suspension actually will become very firm, so you will immediately tell the difference. Then we have steering wheel settings, you have normal, you have sport, but this is SE model, don't forget there are more options available on that car actually. Drivetrain, you can have normal, sport or eco, climate control, and that's pretty much it as for the custom mode here. So again, these buttons called mode, you can go here, choose custom, and then choose adjust. DCC, the most comfortable ride here, is currently chosen. Then it also has wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, start stop button here. You can turn start stop, stop and go function. You can actually, not stop and go, start stop option, you can turn it off, turn it on. I know it's very annoying, some people find it very annoying here. We don't have 360 camera here on this trim, but you can actually see that I can control the third zone here. Even though we don't have buttons available at rear seats, we have it here, so you can see rear, and I can control the temperature. So the airflow temperature can be managed from here, from these settings, so actually, which is very convenient for you. Then the screen is absolutely the same. Then what else do we have here? We have a full digital cluster here, so you can switch between different modes. So we have a full digital cluster here, which allows us to see the full map here, or we can switch between this mode, or between this mode, or between this mode again, which is really important. And I should mention it that for those who don't know, you can actually control what you have showing on that gauges using these function. So you should go to digital cockpit settings. So the left gauge is currently showing your audio settings. The right gauge currently showing your range till empty tank. So you can switch between auto, classic, and you can have custom views like view 1, view 2, view 3. So you can change them. So instead of showing your how many miles you have till empty, you can set what. For example, let's set route guidance, travel time, distance, your average fuel consumption, acceleration, audio settings, elevation, compass, destination information, or again range. So you can customize those information points there using this menu. It's called digital cockpit. So you can cycle between these menus here and see different information like your tire pressure monitoring system, digital cockpit, or whatever. Then you can go to menu, or you can go to car, directly to car, and click settings here. So there are multiple settings available. This car does not come standard with ambient lighting, so you are not able to change your ambient lighting. It's not available here. It's not that it's software limited. It's not about software. It's limited to hardware. So those are the main differences between them, and not actual differences, but these are the features available here on the basic trim, which is called SE trim. So other than that, you don't have black ceiling here. It's not available. You don't have panoramic sunroof here. It's not available. This is a faux leather. It's called leatherette. You have both front seats power operated. That's a very great option here. What else do you have? And they're pretty well bolstered here. So these bolsters are actually the same as that model has. And what else here? We don't have memory seats here, and we don't have massage seats. So massage seat is available for the driver's seat on that model. So let me show you that model. So this is SEL R-Line Premium. Of course, this car has 360 camera because you have this camera here available. It's not available over there. So let me start it up and show you what we have here. All right. So as you can see, everything is very similar, but you start noticing some differences here. First of all, steering wheel. It has these touch buttons. They are called so capacitive buttons. And what else you have here is that the steering wheel itself differs. It has these perforated leather inserts here, which are not available on the basic SE trim. As well, what you have is that you have ambient lighting here. So you see the light coming through these pieces. It's done very nicely. Also, you have the same there, and you have the same in the back. We have black ceiling. We have panoramic sunroof, which you can tilt, you can slide. You have sunshade. This is manual sunshade available here as well. You have auto dimming mirror here. You have paddle shifters available here as well. What else do you have? In terms of climate control, you have climate control buttons here available for rear passengers. So what they have heated rear seats, and they can operate the climate control for the third zone here, so they can choose the temperature for them. That's the only difference between the top trim this car and between that car. That car does not come standard with rear heated seats at all. We have heated steering wheel here, the buttons available here. We have adaptive cruise control here. We have lane keep assist here. It's not available there. Let me show you. So we can cycle between different menus here. So vehicle settings, driving data, assist system. So we can go here. So let me show you. So we have lane assist, we have adaptive cruise control, and what we also have, we have parking assist feature. So parking assist feature will help you park in a tight spots, so whatever. And also we have 360 camera available. So you can see the image itself is not very crispy here, but you have 3D view here. You can have different views available. not the best quality. The resolution is on par with some Japanese vehicles, but obviously it's up, I would say it's not the best. So I cannot compare it directly to Audi or to BMW, to Mercedes-Benz. Those cars, they have better 360 cameras, obviously, but it's good that you have this one. Obviously it's better than nothing comparing to the basic SE model over there. So what else? We have cooled seats here. So as you can see, we have 3 stages heated seats, and we have 3 stages cooled seats as well. That's a very nice option, I would say. What else do we have? So we also have memory seats here, and we have a massage seat for the driver. And how it works, your lumbar support will go up and down, forward and backwards, and it will enable heated seats as well. So it'll be like massage with what? With hot stones, I would say, something like that, like hot stones massage option. So it's trying to emulate that hot stones massage, actual massage. So let's turn it off. The 360 camera here. So pedal shifters. You have also another option here is the folding mirrors. So if you do like that, they will fold in, and then switching it to another position, they are back to normal position. That's another option. You have black ceiling, as I already mentioned. You don't have any head-up displays here. You have another trim here, so basically the same aluminum trim which was available on that standard model, but here it has like different pattern and you can see it. But then also ambient lighting, it goes all the way around the cabin here. On the door trim here, it goes on this panel on the dashboard. Another option available here is Harman Kardon system, and it really drastically differs, I would say. So listening to the music here in this car, it makes complete difference between this car and that car. I mean, because the standard SE trim level, it has very basic acoustic system, while this car, the SEL Premium, comes standard with Harman Kardon, and that's another level, I would say. So what else do we have here? Basically, in terms of technical specs and technical differences, there are no many other difference between them. So let's talk about pricing. So pricing, as I told you before, the brand new car, the 2021 SEL Premium, I'm not saying about any interesting deals so that you can negotiate and get one for 40 grand, for example, fully loaded SEL R-Line Premium. I'm not telling about those cases, about those people. They're really lucky to get one. But last year, as I remember, these top trim SEL Premium R-Line models, you could get one last year for like 41, 42. And as for the basic SE model, you could get one for 31, 32 out of the door price. And not out of the door, actually out of the door would be like 33, 34, maybe 32, something like that, depending on your credit score and what you get usually. And what else? And the top trim SEL Premium R-Line you could get for 42, 43, 41, maybe even 40. I know some people could get one for 40, fully loaded vehicle. Then in terms of technical specifications, I would say there is like no difference except for the all-wheel drive. So that's really important if you live somewhere in Minnesota, in northern states. I would say if you live here in Florida, it doesn't matter actually. So like, is it worth it to actually overpay for this trim over that trim? Probably yes, if you are looking for fully loaded vehicle. If you're looking for rare and very niche looking vehicle, I would say that maybe it doesn't make sense for you to overpay like about 10 grand. I would say about the 10 grand difference here. So in terms of speed, acceleration, this will be very similar. So of course, if it's raining now and you're going to launch from a traffic light, of course this model, which comes standard with all-wheel drive, it'll go faster off the traffic light for sure. But if it's like very nice summertime weather, you have no rain, then especially from a rolling race from like, let's say from 5 miles an hour, it's enough to not have crazy wheel spinning in that front wheel drive model. Then they will be very similar. What else? So yeah, I think that you would find this video very interesting and very useful for you if you're currently looking for one of these cars. Personally for me, it's a sleeper car, I would say. So a lot of people, they actually don't know about this model. Maybe some know Jettas, Passats, Volkswagen Taos, or Volkswagen Tiguan, obviously, but rarely do I find people and do I meet people who know anything about these cars. Even managers in some dealership, they don't know much about these cars. So if you're looking for 2021 fully loaded SEL R-Line Premium, then you should contact Ryan. I will add the details. So Ryan is a sales associate here. We are in Florida. It's a Brandon, Florida, Brandon Volkswagen. So I will add details. This car is currently available for sale. If you're looking for one, please come and get it and see it if you're looking for one. So I hope you find this video very interesting. So, and have a great day and see you in next videos.